Welcome back. We're going to talk today about what food cravings mean and some ways that you can release these cravings. And, think about this for a moment. Have you ever had a craving for something that you couldn't shake? It felt like you absolutely needed it. And is there any one particular kind of food that sends you into this craving frenzy? So many people accept food cravings as a normal part of everyday life without really asking, why am I getting these cravings? While some cravings may be physical or nutritional deficits, most are a deeper signal from our feelings or soul manifesting as the physical. For the most part, we've been taught to overcome our bodily cues and that they always have a physical reason behind them. However, without getting to the actual root of the issues, which is usually an emotional issue, your bodily cues are never going to go away. When looking at food cravings specifically, emotions are one of the most common causes of overeating. Our cravings tend to manifest themselves when we're feeling vulnerable. And rather than expressing our emotions, we tend to stuff them down with comfort foods that give our bodies a false sense of fulfillment. After a while, your body learns this routine and sends cravings in order to create a short-term boost of happiness or comfort. By figuring out the real reason behind your cravings, you can get insight as to what's truly eating at you from within. It's important to have some knowledge about what your cravings mean, and when you do, it will help reduce unhealthy habits and poor food choices. So in this lesson, you'll learn the 3 most commonly craved foods and how to figure out what your mind, body, and spirit are really trying to tell you through those cravings. Let's start with the first one and most common one, craving sweets. There are a few physical reasons why you might be craving sweets: tired or lack of energy. Think about in the afternoon. Most people kind of get that 2 o'clock slump and they start reaching for the sugar. You could be tired, okay, or have low energy. The sad part about that is, or usually the root cause of that, is you're lacking nutrients of some kind, most often nutrients from fruits and vegetables. You could be dehydrated. You might have blood sugar imbalances, chromium or magnesium deficiencies, or a fatty acid deficiency. Now, or another likely reason could be emotional. When you're feeling sad, you may reach for foods that give you comfort. I struggled with a sugar addiction, a really bad sugar addiction, for quite some time. And when I looked into the deeper root of it, mine was definitely emotional and sadness, 100%. Because anytime I reached for the sugar or looked for sugary foods, it was providing me with comfort. Because that's what my grandmother used to always give me at her place. She was an excellent baker. I got to eat cupcakes. Cupcakes are probably the thing that stand out the most. Her chocolate mahogany cake with brown sugar icing. I literally one afternoon got to eat her whipped cream, a whole bowl of her whipped cream that had vanilla and sugar. Yes, I was allowed to eat that. It's crazy. So anytime I reach for sugar, you can pretty much bet there's an emotion of sadness that's in there that I don't want to deal with. Now, there's been a number of studies that show how sugar can affect the same brain regions as drug and alcohol. And that's because simple carbohydrates, like sugar, are digested faster than complex carbohydrates and will give you an immediate energy boost. Chocolate specifically is also metabolized to serotonin, which is a mood-boosting hormone, makes you feel good. So that's where the cravings can also be related to this emotional need. However, this momentary mood improvement that you get when you eat sugar is generally followed by a serious drop. And this, of course, drop in blood sugar usually, and that spurs you to reach for another sugary snack and forms that addictive cycle. So how to feel better without sugar? Well, giving into cookies, cakes, soft drinks, and other refined sweets will only make the problem worse and cause a blood sugar roller coaster that leads to more cravings. Instead of giving in and grabbing the closest candy bar, choose a piece of fruit. You could also choose a piece of dark chocolate because it usually has less sugar in it, or maybe a raw chocolate elixir, which is really good, or a big glass of water when you're craving sweets. Now, that's, of course, to satisfy the physical symptoms of the cravings. Now, the emotional symptoms, remember, those sweet cravings are often due to you feeling sad. So choose to do an activity that makes you happy, such as getting a massage or a bath or sitting in the beauty of nature. Spend time with a loved one, a friend, a pet, or really doing any activity that makes you feel good, maybe coloring or reading a book. The important thing is to remember that there is a difference between sweetness that heals and sweetness that only temporarily takes away the pain. Now let's move on to craving salt. If you crave salt, here are some of the physical symptoms: low electrolyte levels, dehydration, chloride deficiency, iodine deficiency. When adding those fries on the side seems too good to pass up because you're craving salt, it may be time to reevaluate your daily life. Excess and constant life stress can lead to adrenal exhaustion, and you might be pushing yourself further than your body can handle. Your body craves salt when your stress levels are intensely raised for a prolonged period of time and deplete your adrenal gland's ability to create a hormone called aldosterone. And this hormone helps to retain sodium in the body. Now, with these reduced levels of sodium, your body's unable to absorb a proper amount of water and can become dehydrated. That is why it's a good idea anytime you have water, especially for me, I drink distilled water, you want to put a pinch of salt, specifically sea salt, in to replace the minerals and help with the hydration. Now, a hankering for salt may also be related to iodine deficiency, as I mentioned, and it could be the body's way of calling out for natural sea-based minerals. So also know that there is that physical reason. Now, salt cravings can also indicate that you're trying to support yourself in your overwhelmed state and try to reduce your stress. Subconsciously, you might be trying to forget about or support your stressful state with the hardness and strength of salt's solid construct in order to deal with your situation. So how do you feel better without reaching for those salty foods? So rather than building walls around you and just trying to forget about your stress, find strength and trust in your flexibility. The hardness that you wish to develop through the salts only creates resistance, not healing. Instead of devouring an entire bag of potato chips, try de-stressing in more healthy and productive ways, such as eating foods that are rich in vitamin B, such as nuts, seeds, legumes, whole grains, fruits, and vegetables to increase adrenal support. Always, of course, drink lots of water. Exercise is a great way to balance your body and expel negative stress. However, if you're really, really stressed out, maybe a meditation or some mindful relaxation is exactly what you need. Now let's go on to the third and final craving, and that is the craving for fats. Now, stress can affect all parts of your life, including emotions, behaviors, thinking ability, and physical health. No part of the body is immune. So this is where, when we talk about cravings, like we just mentioned, stress can have a really big factor. Now, when it comes to craving fat, some of the physical reasons for your craving could be a calcium deficiency or a fatty acid deficiency. So of course, all foods in moderation are normal, but it's if you find yourself constantly overindulging, especially in things like what we've talked about already, the sugar, salt, and the fatty foods. And that's when you know that your body is out of balance. So craving for things like peanut butter, oils, or fried foods often relate to that calcium deficiency that we mentioned, as saturated fats are necessary to help maintain calcium in the body and build bone density. However, the wrong fatty foods can leave you feeling bloated, lethargic, and sinking into guilt and despair. On a spiritual or emotional level, you may be craving fatty foods because you feel hurt. You're feeling a sense of loss or have yet to accept your own importance. When you have a low sense of self-worth, you are more likely to sabotage yourself and the need to squash your full power and potential down by causing yourself physical discomfort. So how do we balance this? So physically, you can make sure you nourish your body with whole foods. Things like the omega-3s. Now, I actually recommend and personally take a really great high-quality plant-based omega-3 supplement. So if you are looking to boost your omega-3s and you feel like you can't get enough of it through food, such as flax oil, ground flax, chia seeds, walnuts, etc., reach out to me and I'll get you on that plant-based omega supplement. It is amazing and has helped me a lot. I find that my joints don't creak as much and my brain actually functions a lot better when I'm on it. Broccoli, kale are also really great, your whole legume family, and even mustard. Now, what's even more important, though, is learning to accept your own authenticity, your importance and worth, which frees your power and allows you to go against social norms that cultivate insecurity. Through articulating your experience and understanding yourself better, it's possible to see how beautiful your authentic self really is and how much you have to give to the world. This releases restrictions on your sense of personal power, allows you to take back control of your thoughts and hence your life. So if you find that you're craving fatty foods, work on self-love, self-care, releasing any repressed feelings of sadness, of hurt, of guilt. Let go of the past and focus on your solar plexus chakra. That's the area between the rib cage and the belly button. And that is our energetic source of personal power. Okay, so you've learned all about the cravings and why they happen. So here's some next steps. I want you to take note of your personal top cravings. Identify maybe why and when you're craving these foods. Then identify the steps that you can take and an action plan that you can take when you get these cravings. And I encourage you to post your action steps in the Facebook group. We'll see you soon.